Welcome to Living on the Ocean. My name is Arie Baartman, and together with Cheryl, Hudson and our dog Camino, we're sailing Trimaran Dawn back to Europe. Is it too late to be sailing east across the Atlantic in hurricane season? What will happen? Will the winds really be on our nose all the time as is predicted in the forecast, and it will be a 30 or 40 day trip? Or will storms come and will it go wrong? And will we have to tack Trimaran Dawn into big Atlantic waves? That will be a lot of forces on Trimaran Dawn for which I feel she isn't ready. But hurricane season is coming and the first tropical depression has gone underneath St Maarten, followed by a depression that has just gone north of St Maarten. And with this depression north, all the wind around St Maarten has calmed down. Seeing this unique opportunity, we left St Maarten. Goodbye Caribbean, tacking in northeast direction, straight to Hort Azores. We have the full main up, we have the biggest Genoa up. You can see by the flag, we're tacking into the wind. And very nice, if you look at the tiller, she's hardly moving anymore. But it doesn't stay as nice as we left when we come closer to the depression. What you doing up there? A shower? The depression has stopped. It doesn't move much north of St Maarten, and that means that obvious we're gonna get some grey weather and rain, but we're not getting close enough. We don't have to get close enough to get the big waves and the big wind. What we're having is actually a southeasterly wind, and that gives us a possibility to tack in a nice angle upwind in the right direction. We had an incredible night of doing 9-10 knots and reaching 12.4. Dawn is sailing, and now the sun is gonna come up behind me. It's been so much better this night, even when it's been a bit scary. Flying to the night with speeds over 10 knots. At this speed and comfortable, leaning in the wind, it's been much better than reducing the sail too much. Now with only one reef in the sail and a bit of Genoa, the flying flow doesn't slam back as much, as you can see when it becomes daylight. Sailing! Seeing Trimaran Dawn going to the Atlantic waves like this with good speeds straight for our destination is absolutely fantastic. And although I'm tired, I want to watch this for a while before I go to sleep. I like what I see, but above all, I like the fact that I see her connections of the beams to the main hull, which gave us concerns and we had to do some repairs to, and the amount of buoyancy in the float that's being pressed down underwater. And if you look well, it's actually more the waves washing over her, but they are definitely deep down in the water. And this gives me some concerns. I would love to keep more sail up, to pressure even more on that float and keep the other float more out of the water. She's much more like riding on a train when you do it, instead of falling back all the time. You hear me say this so often. And I think in this kind of waves you can see quite well what I mean. You don't want to put a lot more pressure on there. A very exciting night with speeds over 10 knots all the time. And a very good 24. We already got 140 miles and there's 7 hours to go. Yeah, it will be absolutely fantastic to do more than 200 miles in 24 hours. But even when we're doing often over 10 knots and very close to it all the time, we're not going a perfectly straight line. And I measure my distance from waypoint to waypoint and we only did 194 miles. Well, then we push a little bit harder. And then we will make the 200, but as you can see, this float doesn't want to be pushed much harder. As you can see, the float that should be flying all the time in the air is still touching the water. So for that reason, yeah, push harder. But we can't, the floats are too small, as you can see very well in the clip that's coming up. And it's risky if you think, oh, a little bit harder, we make 200. It's not about doing 200 miles, it's getting this boat safe back to the other side of the Atlantic. And if we don't make 200, then we don't make 200. I want to get to the other side. And I think it's this clip where you can see that float going underwater to the waves. If you go faster, this could stall the boat. And she doesn't go sideways, she pitch pulls forwards by the resistance of this float. That's why the beams are so high up, to let the water go underneath there. Because there's been quite a bit of trimarans that pitch pull over an action like this. And that's what I could not see well in the night, and that's why I've been keeping an eye out for. Next to that, I shouldn't be complaining about the speed we're doing anyway. No, we have nothing to complain about. This is not the right season to cross back, and we are already going a couple days and nights in a beeline straight for the Azores and still being on the same starboard tack. Dawn is doing amazing, we're having great weather, and I sail mostly to the night. And in the mornings, when the sun come up, I go down below and give Dawn in the hands of Cheryl.
I'm just about awake. It's a stunning sunrise going on over here today. Not yet been updated over the morning clock. Arie's been on the watch again pretty much all night. I need to keep my sleepy eyes open and hear what's been happening.
And Camino, he's all back into the rhythm of sailing. He's given up already for a long time to fight the motion. Just lay there and relax and let the boat swing you from left to right. And he does that all night through. The days are passing and I actually have become quite beautiful now the clouds are gone and we're actually coming in more relaxed weather. It's full moon as well, and with the clouds gone, we have actually quite light nights. The sun sets, the sun rises, it's one day after another, and it's up till now actually an amazing, fantastic trip. Sunday morning, we're 6 days on the way now, we're almost halfway. The winds are gentle, still looking good for the next couple of days. There's a bit more strong wind looking to come when we are arriving in the Azores. Let's see how that develops over the next coming days. We're still planning what we're gonna do. Are we gonna go through it with a rudder that maybe gives up, or are we just gonna say no? We spare the rudder for sure. We take the rudder out, we let the boat drift till that part of wind is gone, with again waves of 2.5 meters. Just let's see, for the next coming days we're still making very good progress in the direction of the Azores. And what makes all the difference on an Atlantic trip is have a very good weather program, and this is Predict Wind, the routing program from Predict Wind, what basically calculates with computers in New Zealand millions of calculations how to get from the green spot to the red spot, And if you make the green spot your position, it calculates 10 days ahead. And you can see that where that boat goes days ahead of us, how they predict the weather to be. You get it from 6 different very good weather stations, and you can basically choose the one that fits you best. No, that's a joke. You go with the one that you think is the most accurate, or the ones that are the most accurate. For us, that's this black one that we've taken. I've taken the other ones off the screen to keep it easy. Now, blue areas are not with a lot of wind, and red areas have a lot of wind. You can also see the direction of the little white arrows going to there, and it's unbelievable how good weather we have. You can see if we would be more south, we would be in blue, no wind. More north, we would be in no wind. This is what's getting us across an ocean. And the weather, this not good period of the year, it's been absolutely amazing due to the way the depressions have been going over the Atlantic Ocean. So it's not longer the season, it's much more the weather that's there. And what we have today is that fantastic routing program to help us to go more south, more north, more east or west, speed up or slow down. And in the quiet moments we can make great footage of our little trimaran in a massive ocean, with a comfort that you know what the weather is gonna do in the coming days, and prepare for what, according to the program, is gonna come. For us it's been working greatly, and they're not supporting us, we're not getting anything from them. I'm only putting this out for those that ever want to cross and help them and say, this will give you peace of mind, this will tell you where to go. This has made the ocean so much nicer, and I think safer. And then you can see the wind is actually dropping completely and asking for very big light wind sails, which is asking a lot for me to get them up. And when they up, very quickly we have to pull them so far sideways that if it would have been a very good asymmetric spinnaker, helped us greatly. But this way, there's probably the only asymmetric thing in it is the black band in the middle that isn't completely straight. But it doesn't push us forwards, it just makes us lean nicely into the wind, giving still a better airflow on the mainsail, bringing us to the other side of a quiet patch in the ocean. And where we can't go fast enough, we had to use engines just to stay up with the weather forecast, because we already can see that there's bad weather gonna come on our arrival at the Azores. Now the wind is not yet picking up too much. Although, well, behind me you can see that the first darker clouds are coming. I'm not taking this light wind sail away because of that. I'm taking it away because it just got hooked. And how does it get hooked? It's the first sail that I destroy on an ocean. It dropped in very little wind, and it hooked itself behind a cleat, which I will point out to you in a minute. Yeah, you can see clearly here, if you look at the sail, all this sail is pulled together when it was hooked. That one cleat right over there, that's what did the bad thing. And maybe in the future I should put some rope around that cleat when I fly the spinnaker. I didn't think about that when I was still on the ocean. I thought about it when I was editing this video, because this is a real pity. And the biggest pity is that we know we have to keep speed in these light wind conditions. And this was an easy sail to use. The other one is bigger. And now I have to get that whole other bigger sail ready and up and deal with that as well. And by now we're already sailing for a good week. And I'm getting a bit tired. But work needs to be done on the ocean, so you just do it. Go sit for it and start working on an almost 200 square meter spinnaker. A normal good spinnaker, nothing asymmetric on it at all. Get it into the snuffer and get it up, because we need to make progress. And that's not because there's any very bad weather predicted. It's basically because we are starting to see some issues with the rudder again, which will be for the next episode to keep this a very successful one. The first part of the trip, it actually was amazingly. Now, who expected to be in the middle of the Atlantic sailing in the wrong time of the year in just a week? Just doing it basically single-handed. Well, that's not really true. Cheryl, she helped out wherever she could, and I got everything I needed to keep on doing my work. And then there was obvious Camino, keeping very good inspection on everything I did. Most important is that all the lines are not twisted around the sail by nicely organizing them when the sail goes in there. We did it right and we got it up. The wind has also changed more from behind now. And this sail, bigger than the other one, is really pulling us nicely in the direction of the Azores. We are getting there on this amazing trip. And it's better to check if I can take a big spinnaker like this down. So we'll let the clue on the bow go. It's a bit different than on the monohull, but this works for me because I have the whole net on the side to work on, to put a snuffer over it as you can see in the shadow, and control this sail. Well, that worked out greatly, and we now know that we can use that for the rest of the trip, already having done half of this Atlantic trip sailing east in only just a good week. We are actually far ahead of what we thought we would do by the first forecast, 30 or 40 days. Just a change in the weather by these big depressions made all the difference for us, and then seeing the good route and using it has brought us over here. I want to thank all of you that have subscribed to our channel, especially our Patreons. We're looking forward towards your comments and do our best to respond as soon as possible to them. If you're not subscribed to our channel, you can subscribe to our channel by clicking on the bottom in the left hand corner. And our playlists are in the top corners. Thank you for watching Living on the Ocean. We hope to see you in the next episode.